His makeshift tomb was dug in the very floor of the Valley of the Kings. Over there.
It escaped the looters for 3,000 years. And in 1922, everything was there.
The sarcophagi, one inside the other. The statues, the jewels of gold, the sacred and profane furniture, the alabasters, the porcelains, that prodigious treasure that still draws the crowds, and that mask encrusted with lapis lazuli and cornelian, which stares at us from the depths of the night with the enigmatic smile of an immortal young man.
Let us return for a moment to the distant centuries when the world's first great queen, Hatshepsut, was inspired to dedicate 2 golden obelisks to Amun. Listen.
Behold, I was sitting in my palace, meditating upon the being who created me, when the voice of my heart spoke, telling me to make 2 golden obelisks for him. My spirit took fire, thinking of what the men who would later see these monuments would say. They would say, "Why this mountain of gold?" But my dream was beyond my power. My 2 obelisks were not of gold, but of single stone, hard granite without a join, and the expedition to bring the stone to me took 7 months. Now the 2 obelisks have been set up. I must finish their dedication. I shall add this, thinking of future men who will not have seen the realization of my dream of gold. I wish at least that they may be able to say this, that my mouth was excellent in the words that issued from it, and that even in granite, I never went back on my word.
Torn from their native land, today obelisks rise in all the capitals of the modern world. In Rome, Paris, London, Istanbul, New York.
Above the vain tumult of cities, these stones stand like fingers raised for silence, preserving the tradition of ancient Egypt's meditation. And the breath of Amun turns the machinery of the world in the heart of the Forbidden City.
But each year, the harvest done, the grapes gathered, when the new wine rises to the head, Amun takes a short holiday. On his barge of state, he sets forth for a honeymoon on the river.
He goes to Luxor, where he honeymoons each year with the goddess Amun.
This is the beautiful festival of Opet. The joyous echoes still seem to come down to us from the depths of time. All the details are inscribed on the walls along the great colonnade at Luxor.
Once again, in this month of Ptah, the people of Thebes are gathering at the gates of Karnak for the grand festival of the god Amun.
One behind the other, you can see the divine baths as dazzling as the sun. that the people call the Harem of God.
And how could it be better expressed? This tender mystery that will reign over Luxor for 10 days and 10 nights, so that the world may be reborn, that the cattle may multiply, and the earth be fertile.
Take thy joy, O Amun.
And give us joy too during these days of feast.
While we await thy return on the 11th day, and thy glorious descent of the Nile.
And thy return to Karnak.
Yet the twilight fell over the city of God, as it falls over all things.
The boots of the great conquerors rang on the paving stones of antiquity.
Assurbanipal the Assyrian reached the gates of Thebes and defied the ancient citadel. Alexander of Macedon wished to add the title of Pharaoh to his glories.
Caesar the Roman clutched all the Mediterranean in his eager hand and opened it only to give a last caress to conquered Egypt.
Like a tree that has grown too old, Amun himself knew no return of spring.
But the line of Aton, born of the dream of a pharaoh who was a poet, was luckier than the patriarch of Karnak. It was the one god of Akhenaton, the Our Father of the Christians and the Muslims, who raised chapels and mosques in the dust of Thebes.
Although the testimonies of the faith may fall into ruins, they do not die. Language may be lost, but it will be found. And Amun, who reigns forever here, is not a god to be taken lightly.
He is a god of the beginning, when the earth and the waters were still mingled, as were the animals and men. He is a complex god, as powerful as the creation.
Amun announced the salvation of man.
He also announced the salvation of the crocodile and the skeleton, everything that moves, of the flowers of the earth. He deigned to assume the guise of a ram, a falcon, a goose, or a bull. He offered equality to all the companions of the universe.
And the language of the hieroglyphics is like this overwhelming faith, which, thanks to the floods of the Nile, raised these pylons, these colonnades, these obelisks.
May these hieroglyphics come to life once more, to bid farewell to you, new pilgrims to Upper Egypt. Like a sudden flight of a myriad sacred birds, their spread wings sprinkling the droplets of the river like a benediction.